Have you ever wondered how long it takes to forgive someone who has wronged you? This is a question that echoes in the minds of many, a silent tug-of-war between the heart and the mind. Forgiveness, it's a concept that seems so simple, yet is so complex when we try to put it into action. It's often mistaken for forgetting, for erasing the pain as if it never happened. But that's not quite right. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about releasing. It's about letting go of the heavy weight of resentment that holds us back, the invisible chains that bind us to our pain. It's about acknowledging the hurt, understanding it, and then making a conscious decision to let it go. It's about setting yourself free from the prison of past wounds and stepping into the light of personal growth and self-empowerment. Forgiveness, it turns out, is not a destination, but a journey. There was once a man, let's call him Jack, who held a grudge against his childhood friend, Tom. Jack and Tom were inseparable in their youth, sharing laughter, dreams, and the kind of adventures only children can conceive. But as they grew older, an incident caused a rift between them. Tom, in a moment of thoughtlessness, betrayed Jack's trust. The details of the incident are inconsequential. It's the aftermath that truly matters. Jack was hurt, yes, but more than that, he was angry. He held on to that anger, let it fester and grow until it became a grudge that consumed him. The grudge was like a boulder he carried, weighing him down, making every step through life heavier and more difficult. This resentment towards Tom was like a dark cloud that loomed over him, casting a shadow over his every joy. Every time Jack saw Tom, his heart would constrict, his palms would sweat, and his mood would sour. Even when Tom wasn't there, the thought of him was enough to disturb Jack's peace. The grudge was a constant presence, a haunting spectre that prevented Jack from truly living his life. Jack was successful in many ways. He had a fulfilling career, a loving family, and a comfortable life. But the grudge he held against Tom was a dark corner in his heart that he couldn't illuminate. It was a constant reminder of the past, a wound that never truly healed. The grudge became a part of Jack's identity. It shaped his actions, his thoughts, his worldview. It made him cynical, distrustful, and bitter. He lived a life of stress, constantly on edge, never able to fully relax or enjoy the moment. Jack's life, while full in many ways, was always shadowed by the grudge he held. The constant bitterness and resentment were like chains that held him back. It's a sad story, yes, but it's also a cautionary tale. It's a reminder of the destructive power of an unforgiving heart. One day, Jack stumbled upon an old letter from Tom, apologizing for the past. As he unfolded the weathered paper, each line seemed to echo in his mind. Words from a past he had long buried suddenly resurfaced, stirring a whirlwind of emotions. There was regret, resentment, but also a peculiar sense of longing. Longing for a time when things were simpler, when they were not divided by a wall of bitterness. The letter was an apology, a plea for forgiveness. It was Tom reaching out across the years, a voice from the past trying to mend a broken bond. As Jack read, he could feel the sincerity in Tom's words, the genuine remorse for the actions of yesteryears. It was like a mirror, reflecting back the pain they had inflicted on each other. Jack found himself on a precipice of a significant realization. He began to see how holding on to resentment was like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. He was the one getting burned. The anger and bitterness he had harbored were not hurting Tom. They were hurting him. They were dark clouds that had overshadowed his happiness, his peace of mind. And then came the turning point. Amid this emotional storm, the concept of making amends began to take form in his mind. The idea of forgiveness, not as an act of condoning what Tom did, but as a means of freeing himself from the chains of resentment. It was about letting go of the past, about healing, about moving forward. Making amends was not about forgetting, but about learning and growing from the past. It was about acknowledging the hurt, but choosing to break the cycle of anger and resentment. It was about giving himself permission to heal. Jack held the letter in his hands, the weight of his decision pressing down on him. He knew forgiving Tom wouldn't erase the past, but it could change his future. It could open doors to reconciliation, to understanding, to peace. And in that moment, Jack made a decision that would change his life. It wasn't easy, but Jack reached out to Tom. He was ready to forgive. He had spent sleepless nights grappling with the decision, wrestling with his pride, but he knew it was time. Jack decided to meet Tom at a quiet cafe, a neutral ground where they could talk without the weight of their shared past looming over them. The air was heavy when they met, filled with years of unspoken words and unresolved feelings. Jack looked into Tom's eyes, and for the first time he saw not the person who had wronged him, but a fellow human being, flawed, just like him. He saw in Tom's eyes the same fear, the same regret that he himself had been carrying around for so long. He took a deep breath, and with a voice trembling with emotion, Jack said the words he never thought he would say. "I forgive you, Tom." It was as though a 100-pound weight had been lifted off his chest. He felt lighter, like he could finally breathe again after being underwater for so long. The room was silent, except for the sound of their synchronized breaths. Tom looked at him, his eyes welling up with relief and gratitude. They both knew that this was a turning point, a chance to let go of the past and start afresh. In the days and weeks that followed, Jack felt a change within him. He was no longer consumed by resentment or bitterness. He found himself laughing more, living more. He began to appreciate the little things in life, the things he had taken for granted when he was clouded by anger. He realized that forgiveness was not just about the other person, it was about him. It was about freeing himself from the chains of the past and giving himself the chance to truly live. He learned that forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a continuous process, a choice we make every day to let go of resentment and embrace peace. With forgiveness, Jack found not just peace, but a renewed sense of joy in his life. Jack's story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of forgiveness. In the grand tapestry of life, forgiveness is a golden thread that weaves through the fabric of our relationships, holding them together even when they are strained by conflict and misunderstanding. It's an act of liberation, not just for the person being forgiven, but crucially for the one granting forgiveness. Imagine holding onto a burning coal, the heat searing your skin, the pain growing with every passing moment. That's what resentment feels like. It's a self-inflicted wound that keeps us chained to the past, preventing us from moving forward. The act of forgiveness, however, is like opening your hand and letting that burning coal fall away. It's a release, a letting go of past hurts and grudges that allows us to heal and grow. Making amends, on the other hand, is the bridge that reconnects us with those we've hurt or been hurt by. It's a journey of humility and courage, a willingness to admit our mistakes and to do what we can to rectify them. And in this journey, we often find a deeper understanding of ourselves and others, and a deeper connection with the world around us. But let's not forget, forgiveness and making amends are not just about repairing relationships, they're about personal growth. They teach us empathy, compassion, and resilience. They help us become better versions of ourselves, and they pave the way for happier, healthier relationships. So remember, every grudge you let go of lightens your load. Every apology you make smooths a bump in your path. Every act of forgiveness opens a door to peace. Every effort to make amends plants a seed of reconciliation. In the end, life is too short to hold grudges. It's never too late to forgive, to make amends, and to let the light in. So I leave you with this question: who do you need to forgive? Let that question linger in the silence of your thoughts. There are likely names and faces that spring to mind, memories that echo with the sting of past hurts. It's not easy, that's for certain. Taking that first step towards forgiveness can feel like a leap into the unknown. Yet, just as Jack did, you too can make that leap. You can choose to release the burdens of resentment, to unclench the fist of anger, and open your hand to the healing power of forgiveness. It's not about erasing the past, but about reshaping the future. Imagine the weight lifting, the freedom that comes with releasing the chains of unforgiveness. The journey towards forgiveness is a path that leads to peace. It's a choice that breathes life back into your relationships and into your very soul. Remember, life is a journey of forgiveness. Don't wait for tomorrow, start your journey today.